Bridgeport election overturned after city officials pleads the 5th to ballot harvesting. Fam, I had to take a second and step away for the last section because I got a call from a woman. Hold on, let me grab the article. And her name is Jessie. Sorry, her name is Jessie Lopez. She just called me directly. And that's why I had to. This is the county register. It says move to stop vote and recall falters. Since the census came out, they had to redistrict, and it was in the middle, I guess, of a term. There it is right there. She is right there. She just called me to speak to me about it because I read the article and I called the office and left a message for her. And she's saying something about her election that seems odd because what they're doing is they deadlocked 3-3, 6 people. I guess she was the 7th councilwoman or person about whether they should have a recall vote or not, a special election. They've already started it. They don't know what kind of district to go by because there's a new district. So I'm going to speak to her about her situation, but this is something we've been watching for quite some time. Obviously, ballot harvesting, and this is something I say all the time because this is a situation in which the conservatives are going to get a little bit crazy about. This is my 6 rules to free and fair elections, and I keep trying to explain to conservatives out there or the populist right, or even when I speak to progressives on the left, is that the system itself is a fraudulent system, right? It's not trying to catch fraudulent people within the system itself is only going to get you so far. This is a situation that says footage showed by Wanda Geter Pataki, the vice chair of Bridgeport Democratic Town Committee and operations specialist for the city, and Anita Martinez, a former City County member, stuffing ballot drop boxes. You can't have these drop boxes out in the middle of nowhere. I know people, they sell it as, go ahead, make it bigger. They sell it as, it's more convenient, it's more accessible, it's more inclusive, fam. But we know this. You can't have drop boxes out in the middle of nowhere. And not to mention right now, there's still legal ballot harvesting in 27 states. The last time I checked, about 6 months ago. I'll check again soon. But I haven't heard about any state eliminating drop boxes. You know, we went after Tulsi Gabbard pretty hard yesterday for her disgusting comments that she said on Laura Ingraham. But Tulsi Gabbard, one of the last things she tried to push when she was in office was to eliminate drop boxes. Not drop boxes, ballot harvesting. Remember when the Bernie Sanders campaign was like, all right, we're going to go and collect ballots from people and turn them in rather than setting up exit polls at all the stations? Like, you have enough people to set up exit polls everywhere. That would be a great weaponry for when they try to cheat you, because the whole thing when it comes to elections is that you don't have to create a voter. You just got to create a ballot now with the way the system's out there. The system itself is the demon, not people within the manipulating the system. We have a messed up election system when it comes to our election system here. These drop boxes out in the middle of nowhere are never, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And then people who are allowed to have who are allowed to legally ballot harvest, you'll never have a fair elections. The grassroots will never win. So in this particular situation, they reversed the election, and they're going to have a special in that election now, it seems, because ballot harvesting was illegal, and they stuffed the ballot box. But guess what? This is one area where we saw it. How many areas are we not going to see it, fam?
Yeah, I mean, this is just one area, right? This is just one area. This is just the area of the vote by mail stuff, right? Or the, but you have to go look at the machines. You have to go look at every aspect, the front, the back of the house, and the front of the house as well. The U.S. elections are the worst. So you won't find a country where you can literally legally take a bunch of ballots and just put them wherever you want. I mean, that's just not how it works. It definitely doesn't work that way in the best, the countries with the best elections in Latin America, like Nicaragua, like Venezuela. It certainly doesn't work that way at all. And even in Brazil, when you do have these machines, you can print out these receipts. You can trace everything back. People have to go to where they're assigned to vote. They can't just go wherever they want. There's no ballot harvesting. There's certainly no vote by mail. The only places that have vote by mail are, I think, Western countries for the most part. Now, Russia has an interesting system that you can vote online for the mayor. So I was kind of getting into that one because I was trying to understand, how it is. But it was explained to me, it is a blockchain type of voting system, online voting system. So it was very interesting. It is a blockchain, because I specifically asked, well, isn't this hackable then if you can just vote online for the mayor? But it is described as a blockchain type of system. So I thought that was very interesting, because that's something we've advocated for as well. So it'll be interesting to see the more I find out about that here, because it honestly, of course people would love to vote online, but you have to have a specific control in place to do that. But so far, the vast majority of the world has usually votes on paper or on some sort of machine that can have a paper trail in order for these things not to happen, for ballot stuffing and all that stuff. And ballot stuffing is just one aspect. It's not the entirety of the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It is just one thing. Like you said, front of the house, back of the house. There's so many things that we have to do, and we just have to lay it out. And the whole thing about it is that in the Latin American countries, the grassroots understands how the ruling class can fix an election. Here in the States, the ruling class has got the progressives and the grassroots to go along with ways to make it easier to cheat an election. That's the thing that just drives me crazy. They understand you need to have ID, one person, one vote. You have to show up at your spot is the best way to have a fair election, and the grassroots, like the Sandinistas, can get control. It's the opposite over here, and that's a shame, because they think that they've been duped because of the whole woke kind of mentality of, we got to be inclusive and get there and whatnot. And I mean, TYT has this whole kind of like area now, this whole mechanism, this one person who's doing reporting on all this like voter suppression shit in the United States. It's like they're having arguments or discussions about Narnia. It doesn't exist. You're making shit up. And that's what the mainstream media, along with the ruling class, has been able to do. So it's a shame the way our elections are. This is something we try to push to our friends and our people to show, because we want to get grassroots candidates in. We wanted the Maria Estradas, the Raji Robs, the Angelica Duenases to win over here. That's why part of the reasons why we started our channel was to make sure that we can elevate some of these voices that weren't getting in the mainstream. But a lot of people didn't catch on. And in fact, they took the bait and they did the establishment's works for them of making sure the elections can never produce a grassroots winner ever. And the establishment will always have control. And that's what we see right here. This is one little area, but it's not like people are going after and changing the rules. And the populist right hasn't done its job either, fam. They're still looking to catch the boogeyman. I don't know what it is, but there's bad people. That's why we got to be able to arm ourselves. And we got to catch them. No, the system itself is the bad person. You need to change the system. They haven't done their due diligence. They've learned a lot since their guy got robbed in 2020, but they haven't done their due diligence themselves. So.
Yeah. I mean, the United States, again, my position, right? You can't reform this. You can't reform this. The system, as you said, has to change, and the system is too corrupt to change, and the people just aren't ready to change it yet. They haven't gotten to the point where they realize you need to start over. It's not working. There are things that are good about the way the U.S. Has set up certain structures, but the vast majority of it is complete and total, just irreformable. It's not. So yeah.